Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we preview the pick of the action from Cheltenham Trials Day as well as Doncaster. Of course, all races live on Sky Sports Racing. Joining me in the studio, Declan Rix and Sam Boswell. Sam, how's your week been?
Oh, really good. Thanks, Kate. Actually, lots of great racing last weekend, obviously. Managed a few winners between us. But, Dec, we always have to celebrate success, don't we, in the Weekend Winners family? And, Kate, I believe your blog last Sunday turned up. Why are you not putting these doubles and big prize winners up on this show? That's what I want to know.
More to the point, isn't it? Exactly. Why these doubles aren't getting put up on here. Because it's Sunday racing. We can only focus on one day at a time in this game. But thank you very much, Sam. I know that was good to see at Windsor. And really good weekend of racing last week, Dec, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. I just feel like I'm getting to grips with Windsor now where they don't race on the jumps until next season. So nice one, yeah. But your nap went in, did it?
Yeah, and I went with the over on the distance for John Bond. He was very impressive.
Yes,
I must say, I was there at Ascot. Slightly disappointed there weren't a few more people there for that clash, actually. But yeah, a really impressive performance nonetheless. Nicky Henderson certainly seems to be flying the flag this side of the sea for going into Cheltenham as, you know, who knows, possibly leading trainer.
Potentially.
His original nap.
We won't
to be fair, you steered him in the right direction. It's all about teamwork.
Said thank you, though, you know.
Thanks, Tracey.
Yeah. In the great words of Barney Curley, I saved your bacon, you were gone.
It's all about teamwork in this game, isn't it? As everyone says in horse racing, all about teamwork. But anyway, hopefully we'll try and find you some more winners this week. But of course, before we get stuck into the action, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, we're going to begin with a racer I am solely focusing in on in terms of a tip then in this. This is a 150 at Cheltenham, Premier Handicap Chase for the 5-year-olds and over 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs. So another one of these 2.5 mile contests of a Premier Handicap Chase at Cheltenham. I love these races, as you both know, because running the trends against them gives me so much joy. And I may not have much of a life, but it still gives me a lot of joy though. Now, I tend to get slightly concerned, though, when the trends land me on a horse that I don't necessarily, on paper, think that the race is really going to suit them, how it's going to pan out, pace perspective. But it landed me on Soul Icon, though, here, who, Sam, we've got a mixed record with, I guess. We love him, but he's also slightly burnt us. Broke your heart, yeah.
But to be fair, he's a great horse, Kate. And interesting selection, I think it's fair to say. And ridden by BetVictor brand ambassador Gavin Sheen. So
There you go. I thought I was going to tee that up for that, but there you go. Yeah, Soul Icon, though, as you say, he's a funny animal, though, isn't he? But he's wears his heart on his sleeve. We know how he's going to be ridden. For this race, you want a prominent racer as well. And I was slightly doubting if Cheltenham would suit him, but you look back at his Cheltenham record. He won a handicap hurdle in 2022, running well on his sole start at Cheltenham since, running on to finish 4th in another handicap hurdle. And as I say, in terms of the trends, it suggests you want a 6 or an 8-year-old prominent racer. 2 runs is optimal in the season, and to win last time out is another plus, which we know, of course, he got, and around a month since that latest outing. So the horse that is ticking the most boxes is Soul Icon in here, following that 16-1 win in the Grade 2 Desert Orchid Chase at Kempton last time out, over some smart types as well. So just up £3 then for that. I didn't think 8-1 was a bad price. I've got another horse to go at, potentially in the long shot section towards the end of the show as well, but I'll leave that there for now. But the traders are having fun with this race as well, Sam.
Yeah, I think they probably perceive this as a trappy encounter, so they've decided to boost the favourite. So if you like Iroko, obviously potentially Grand National on the horizon, and maybe it's just a trip that's giving the traders a little bit of food for thought and why they think they can get him beat. But if you're a fan of that horse, you'll be able to get the boost available. Obviously, if you drift to a bigger price, you'll get a bigger dynamic boost as well, so it'll go a little bit bigger. But yeah, Iroko, our first boost on the show, the 150, you can use the Weekend Winners QR code or go to the microsite link in the YouTube description to get that price.
I don't know what to do with
21 to 5. Just make
They're back for the first time in 2025.
That marked off your Weekend Winners bingo card. Declan getting annoyed at prices.
South African traders back, good lad.
It's been a few weekends, to be fair, that we haven't seen any of these prices such as this. So, yeah, some things don't change, though, in 2025. And, boosted to 21 to 5 for Iroko. And as you say, bearing in mind that the Grand National is the main target for him at the end of the season, as has been said by everyone, you wonder him at the head of the market. I don't know. I don't really know what to do with that.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think if you like him, it's a good price boost, but I think I could see why the traders might be taking him on.
Yeah, I can completely understand that as well. But if you do want to utilise that bet boost, head to the website or scan the QR code in Vision to take advantage of that. Right, we're going to move on to the 225 at Cheltenham, the Grade 2 Cotswold Chase. 5 rows and over 3 mile one. Now, Longpresse is the favourite. Dec, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, at 112 yards to this distance because of rail movement, so it's going to be more of a stamina test than what it says there on the screen. And that's probably a little bit of a worry for my horse, Longpresse, because I think on his 2002 run behind Brave Man's Game in the King George, I looked like he was just coming to the end of his tether. And then also last year in the Gold Cup, I just thought he didn't quite stay either. Now, pace will help. Those were obviously 2 proper Grade 1 races run at a good gallop on ground with plenty of juice, especially last year's Gold Cup. That ground was maybe closer to heavy than soft on the day. And the pace of this race, I think they won't go a good gallop. I think it's going to be quite a tactical run race. I think Gentleman's Game will go forward with Stage Star, but those 2 horses are not really end-to-end gallopers. And Gentleman's Game will probably like to take a lead. And, you look at this form here, beating Protectorat, that form is franked significantly at the Cheltenham Festival and even again last week at the Winter Millions on Sky Sports Racing at Windsor. Look, I thought his seasonal debut in the King George was a good run. That's just such an incredibly tough race to make your seasonal debut in. He did the typical Longpresse. He jumped out to his left, but he jumped well. But, I think getting back on the left-handed track will suit. Stamina is a worry, especially with the extra yardage, but I think he might be able to win it in the style kind of Frodon won it in a few years ago. It'll just be class that gets him through. He's getting weight from his main market rival, Gentleman's Game, and, in terms of weights and measures, it really does look a good opportunity for him, if he stays.
Even money. It is interesting on the staying front, isn't it? Because for a former Brown Advisory winner, you just expect him to go on to be a real live Gold Cup contender. And, of course, he's run well in the race, but does he really see out that extra distance?
Yeah, I think that Brown Advisory, he was given a very good ride by Charlie Deutsch because the further they went into that race, the slower the pace got. Remember, there was that year they had all that rain and it didn't ride like an end-to-end gallop, and I just thought he outclassed them with a little bit of boot. But look, he's older, stronger again, and he's not exactly, massively getting on in years. I think he's 10, so looks a really good opportunity for him.
Yeah, and he's getting weight from Gentleman's Game as well, despite being superior to him in terms of official ratings, Sam.
Yeah, the conditions suit him, don't they, in that sense, for the race conditions. And hopefully he's a bit wiser as well, Dec. And you mentioned his age, but he is quite lightly raced because of those issues he's had. So I don't think there's enough miles on the clock for me to be too concerned about that. I think this is a good bit of placement, if we're being completely honest. It's a slightly disappointing renewal in terms of what he's up against. If you're trying to take on a favourite here, I thought even money or bigger, he's definitely a bet for me in here. Gentleman's Game's a nice horse, but just isn't in the same ballpark for me at the moment as this horse. And I tipped him up, didn't I think, each way in the King George, and just about managed to get that place money. I think, obviously, to me, Kempton's not his track anymore. I think he's been there, done that and tried. In a good contest, and obviously it was run a good pace, but you go through the likes in here, it's just hard to see. And Delta Work, I think, is just here, obviously, to try and maybe get down a couple £1 or £2. Tommy Booth should be outclassed. Stage Star, interesting, I guess. Trip, maybe you could ask, is a bit of opportunity to improve there. Chantry House didn't. I can't believe Chantry House
accidentally won last time out.
Yeah, I mean, it did almost become a win by default. So you come back around, and Longpresse just should be the winner for me. And at even money, I'm happy to take that. I don't want to take odds on, but evens or bigger, that'd be fine for me.
Poor old Chantry House. He's meant to be hunter chasing now. Now he's in another Grade 2 contest. He's absolutely stitched himself, hasn't he? But yeah, like you say, in terms of the turnout for this race, the 4 behind these, apart from Stage Star, who is the potential lurker if he decides to bring his A game here, but I just couldn't trust that. Love Gentleman's Game, as you've both been saying there. He's such a bonny horse. And we know that Mouse Morris, he doesn't travel horses for the crack, does he? And we've seen that with Gentleman's Game, so notably as well. But the fact that Longpresse is getting £6 from him, he's going the right way around. He's at his track as well. And as you said there at Kempton, he didn't jump as markedly left as we have seen from him previously, but it is just still his preference, isn't it, to jump left all the same. But he still ran a cracking race. And both of those 2 horses at the head of the market, last time out, that was both of their reappearances. And on the RPRs, very little to separate the pair of them on that basis. But you just know with Longpresse, when he actually makes it to the track, as you said there, the fact fact, he's had those issues previously. He is ready to go, fully firing. When they first opened up and he was a shade of odds against, I thought, goodness me, that was a gimme.
And his record second time out is mixed, so from coming off that first start, so I can't sit here and be too panicked about the fact that that's his second run of the season. There's not enough evidence to suggest he's definitely not going to bounce or have an issue, but there's something there to suggest that actually he can put runs together. He's just been an unfortunate horse. He's obviously notably fragile. There's a good piece that Jockey Club did actually with him on social media that's worth a watch. Really interesting. One of his owners is a fascinating really nice guy. And
he seems to live in his stable, doesn't he? Every time he's on the phone to anyone interviewing him, he's in his stable.
Oh, if you had a horse that nice, who can blame him? Fingers crossed, gets the win.
And loads of rain around the Cheltenham area, as I was fully aware last night.
Well, that's one thing. Cheltenham didn't update their going stick Wednesday, and we were doing this early Friday morning. There was no update from the track before we went live, so we were actually doing the show. We don't know how much rain they got overnight. So.
No, and it is its own little microclimate. There's 15 minutes from a track, and it was howling a gale last night. So I'm hoping that it's going to have hit the ground, and Long Presse will take full advantage of that. So all of us in agreement there in that Grade 2 contest. Right, another Grade 2 now for the Cleeve Hurdle, 3:35 at Cheltenham. 5 rods and over 3 miles. Now, Crambo is heading the way here on the back of his long walk success. So I guess, Sam, does he back it up here?
Yeah, well, I hope he does, because I'm going to be with him. Obviously, I tipped him up, didn't I, Ascot, and took that leap of faith, I seem to remember, asking for a bit of a Christmas miracle, and he delivered. He's got to go and do it again. I think that's obviously a big question. But I kind of went through the race and thought, well, why won't he do it again effectively? You know, he obviously got the better of plenty of decent horses in this race, and we'll see the form again. And I know the second favourite obviously pulled up, and he had a wind up since, but I kind of wouldn't want to be playing here. At the 2 prices, I need to see that wind ops worked first before I want to get involved in strong leader. Crambo, for me, you know, I think realistically should back this effort up. I can't really find a reason as to why he won't. It's a horse I've always thought a lot of, and I think potentially is going to be going into that Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham the only thing really that could potentially shape up to shorten in price significantly to give the favourite something to think about. Fergal O'Brien obviously mean a lot to him to win this race, local trainer, and I hope Crambo can pull out enough and see. But like I say, I didn't think it was the strongest renewal. Obviously, it's a bit awkward this time of year. This is kind of like the last chance, isn't it? You've only got one more sort of 3-mile hurdle race for these types to go before the festival. So, yeah, Crambo for me. I won't be going mad, but I thought a 15 to 8, that was a fair enough price. And he is the right market leader for me.
I've just had a ground update as well from producer Ben. Good to soft in places at Cheltenham at present. So,
how much rain overnight?
Ben, can we follow up on that one, please? I'll set him on to this, or try and make the case for Crambo as well here, because initially with this, I did have a really strong opinion. 11 mils they have had.
Holy moly.
There you go. I'll let you do the maths then for that. But Crambo, though, initially I had a really strong opinion on this race. I thought Crambo's just going to take all the beating. Then I had to give my head a shake and thought, this is Stayers Hurdle division. And in terms of the British challengers here, it's still just as messy as it always is. I love Strong Leader. I was really strong on him for the long walk. But as you say, he was bad, really not great at all. And he's had the wind operation, which kind of indicates there was an issue there, rather than it was just an off day, draw a line through it.
Which is pleasing from your perspective if you're a Strong Leader backer, because you've got an excuse, right? That's what you'd want.
Yeah, I don't know. Because then, I mean, like I said, it just... OK, it probably is what you want.
Doesn't that just sum up this whole race? I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, I'll just leave it there, to be honest. Pass on to the next one. But that's it, though. With Strong Leader, do you want to say, OK, but then, like you say, you wouldn't trust him not to do it again if it was just a complete off day, rather than there was an issue. They've tried to fix it, but you probably want to see him in this race to see what he's going to be like. And if he goes and wins this, then I'm happy to let him win at 5-2. But yeah, Crambo. And when you look back at his previous form at Cheltenham as well, of course, that's going to be a stick you're going to try and hit him with then for this. But I wouldn't be too harsh upon that whatsoever, because he was 9th of 12 in the Stayers Hurdle last season. But that's just when he fell completely out of form. So I'm just more than willing to forgive that at this point, give him another chance to back up his long walk hurdle win. And I mean, I was tempted with Gal Road for a second one, so I was starting to go back through it. But he's just going to finish second, isn't he? He is just going to finish second again in this.
Maybe it could be, I was looking at him for a place only bet.
Yeah. if you can get the price.
There's just question marks around the top two at the market for me.
Oh, I just definitely so. But again, such is the division. But I am going to stick with Crambo all the same, though. And for now, there's no reason for me to doubt that he can't back up, even though his best form's at Ascot, he can't back it up here at Cheltenham. So we're both with Crambo. You're going to join the party?
Yeah, look, I think this is a bit of a mad betting race. I really do. Crambo. He was a massive drifter in the Stairs Hurdle last year and he ran accordingly. He was a massive drifter last time out when he won the long walk, 11-2 out to 9s, which suggested to me this horse was not right at home. His prep was awful because on the form book, given that he won the race the year previous, there is no way he should have been a 9-1 shot in that long walk last time out. So I just don't know what to make of that race. Like Beauport had all these supposedly good staying hurdlers off the bridle going to 2 out. Hidden Valley Lake has let down the form. Blue King Daru has let down the form as well. I know Henry de Bromhead's horses maybe aren't actually in great order at the moment, but I just don't know where we are with Crambo. And the other thing with that is he's a really likeable horse. He's a good jumper. He's got such a wonderful attitude. They went a good gallop for most of that race. I think he might have had a hard race, so I'm kind of against him. I was with Strong Leader the last time out and he was heavily punted, and then it just looks like he's getting on a roll in his career and then his wind goes.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't know where you are with him there. Like, I had an inhaler in my bag there. That's gone today. If I knew his wind was going to go, I should have given it to him because I was on it 5-2. I was delighted. But so the wind is gone. We don't know what the wind operation is going to do with him either. And then the rest on the form book plainly just do not look good enough. So I don't know. Look, at the prices, I'd probably chance Strong Leader and the hope that that the wind operation has worked. Because look, as I said, it just looked like he was starting to get on a roll, and this was his comeback at Newbury at the start of the season. Now, jumping has let him down in the past, but I thought his jumping was coming together this day, and you know he's never been the type of horse to do loads in front. So yeah, look, he beat Monreal comfortably this day, and I thought he was going to take a nice step forward. So I don't know. It's a really tough race, and then you further throw into that Crambo's got no form around Cheltenham. The 2 times or the 3 times that Strong Leader's been here, his latest runs haven't been that good, although he did run well in the Supreme as a young horse. It's just a bonkers race. Just one to watch, I think. But if you at the prices, I would have a gentle siding with Strong Leader with absolutely no confidence at all.
Nicely caveated there, all the same.
It's a mad race.
It is, isn't it?
You know, some races you've just got to put your hands up and say, look, I don't know. And it's like, you know, you never kind of lose in this game. You win or you learn.
Oh, that's a good way. That's very philosophical of you, Tech,
Well,
I must admit.
yeah, you know, new year, new me, all that jazz.
Oh, yeah, exactly. South African traders can say the same, but a new you all the same, though. But 5-2 about Strong Leader. You know who was a fascinating one in here? That lad, Garlaw. Could he be a Noble Yates
We'll be
here?
talking about him a bit later, Kate. That's what I'll say.
Oh, OK.
Doesn't he hate jumping hurdles?
He's only had 3 starts over hurdles. A winner of one of those,
Yeah,
but...
we will mention him later.
Oh, what a tease.
Yeah,
what a tease this is, though. But the traders want to take on Crambo in this one. So I don't know if I'm pleased about this then or not. So they're taking him on this time.
Yeah, we're going to get a better price, though, Kate. So that's the way. Let's be half full about it. And, you know... in a field full of question marks, as Deck said, he did drift and win really, you know, when the market suggests he wouldn't. He's 5-2 boosted there. Like I say, I think he'll be all right. And Deck, don't forget, he missed a little bit of work, didn't he, in the lead up to his comeback, and that's why I think we only saw him in December, right at the end of December. So who knows, maybe that race will have put him completely spot on. Hopefully Fergal's got him flying, and Kate and me are going to smash up that 5-2.
Yeah.
I love your half-full mentality for this race.
That's a new year, new you.
There you go.
No, like I said, sometimes you just got to say I haven't got a clue, and that's what I'm saying here.
Oh, 5-2 though, all the same. Yeah, I'll be taking advantage of that. We're taking Chris on, so again, do head to the website, to the BetVictor microsite, or to attheraces.com/weekendwinners, or the QR code to take advantage of that boost. Right, we head north to Doncaster now for the 205, another Grade 2 contest, the River Don Novices Hurdle, 5-year-olds and over 3 miles. All Doncaster's races live on Sky Sports Racing. I'm going to leave this race to you two. I've got a fantastic record in this. It's a real war of attrition for these novices, Deck.
Yeah, it is. We've got 8 runners in at the moment, but please be aware, I suspect we will be down to 7 because Gamester's guy is a second preference here. It looks like he's going to run at Cheltenham on Saturday as Sam punches the air beside me as 8 runners goes down to 2 runners. Bookmakers rejoice. So, yeah, it's only going to be down to 7 runners, which isn't ideal for some of the each-way punters out there. Don't see an awful lot of pace. I suspect Jigs Forge will go forward. I like him. I suspect he just gives me the impression that he's a horse with an awful lot of raw talent, but he's by Western and some of those can be a little bit gassy, and I just wonder, is this really what the test he wants at this time of his career? And the last time out might just be a bit of freshness, but he might just do a little bit too much around a track like this over 3 miles as a young horse, and I'm hoping that'll be the case and he sets the race up for Mashan too. I was interested in the favourite Western Knight as well, but with him carrying a penalty I came down on the Emma Lavelle horse, and he's had 3 runs this year and everything about him is getting better. His jumping is getting better, he's getting sharper, and his figures and his form are improving. He started the season behind the good horse of Sam Thomas's, is it Celtic Dino at Wincanton. Good ground, sharp track, and for a horse who looks like he's a 2.5 miler, 3 miler, I just love the bit of class that he showed to lay up with him around a track like that. I think he's got a real touch of class about him, this horse. And, you know, he's beaten a horse here of Nicky Henderson's called Excello, and I think he's beaten him well. But as he's gone on through the season, he's actually racing a little bit behind the bridle, a la Paisley Park, may I say. And, you know, I just think he's going to give himself a better chance of staying than a lot of horses in here. I like him, he's improving, and, you know, I think with him getting £3, I definitely would have him and Western Knight a lot closer in the market. And Emma Lavelle's team are in great order at the moment as well. So, yeah, Mashan 2 for me in the River Don Moshe Dohole. Sorry, that's Irish for thank you. I shouldn't be saying.
I did, to be honest, I wasn't going to try and check, to be honest, what it was. I was just hoping for the best.
Usually I go for the Spanish mucho gracias.
I know.
But, you know, yeah, we went
mixing
Irish
it up.
there,
It's
so, yeah.
a man of culture is what you are. 100 to 30.
Culture and philosophy in this week's show.
I was going to say, what a turnaround then for Declan this week. Yeah, Mashan 2 though, 100 to 30 for him. Sam, who do you like?
Yeah, well, Dec thinks I'm punching the air if we get down to 7 in here. I'm really not, because I wanted to have a really sneaky each-way bet on Jigs Forge. I really like the horse too, Dec, but I thought it was interesting. I reread Ben Pauling's comments after that Foss last win, and the indication was, we'll go and win a novice under a penalty and stick to 2 miles 4. Well, they obviously go up in trip here into a graded contest. So something's got to have changed since post-race, and he's been off, 66 days, something like that, since this win. And I just wonder if he's showing Ben a lot more at home since this win to suggest that actually he will relish a challenge like this and he will need to take a step forward. But the form of this race looks reasonable enough. The fourth horse has won, Andy Ammo, since, and the second won by 26 lengths the next time out. I'm not sure it was the deepest race that the horse went and won, but still won by an exaggerated distance, and that's always nice to see. He's had 3 runs in point to points as well over 3 miles. Now, I appreciate it's a little bit of a different ball game, but I think he's actually probably got a bit more experience than it would suggest in the manner of how he won this race, because he was a bit free. But I'm really interested. I think if he's going to get an extended trip, well, Doncaster's track is not quite like a Cheltenham, is it? So it's a good place to probably test him out. What are we, 6 to 1? I'm going to have to abandon that bad each-way bet, aren't I, and just go for a win-only bet with just the 2 places. I do really respect the favourite. Just a quick touch on him. Obviously, the second last time out at Cheltenham, if the winner hadn't been in the race, he'd look mighty impressive. And he's got some nice form as well. But Dex alluded to it. He's got to carry a bit more, hasn't he, here? Jigs Forward for me, I thought, I'll take the chance. Ben Pauling's record in the race is good as well, and hopefully he can be a really, really nice horse.
2019 and 2021. Being, reliably informed. I could just blag it and say that I knew that Ben Pauling winners in the race.
He's won 3 of the last 10, hasn't he?
Oh, and 2016 as well. Oh, you caught him out. There you go.
Even producing the show.
There you go.
This could be my best show ever.
Exactly, best show.
Doing it all. Yeah, we let the results dictate. Yeah,
I was going to say, actually, we'll wait for that, though, at this point. But, yeah, given Ben Pauling's record in the race as well, that Jigs Forge at 6 to 1 looks a fair price. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, moving on to the 3:15 at Doncaster, the Great Yorkshire Handicap Chase. Premier Handicap, 5-year-olds and over 3 miles. So perhaps the most competitive race of the weekend, Sam.
Yeah, really good betting heat, this handicap to get stuck into. Plenty of familiar names, plenty of form on offer. And I looked at the head of the market, the Changing Man. What's he now up to? A mark of 137, having finished second twice in his last 2 starts. And I kind of just get the feeling, how well handicapped is he at this point? Keeps getting nudged up a couple of pound here and there for those good efforts. Going to be getting harder and harder to win with, and with that in mind, I actually liked Forward Plan a bit more at 6-1, the second favourite in here. His Doncaster record, 3 races at the track. He's finished 3rd, 2nd and 1st, following the same path that he took last year. We'll see him here. This was painful if you backed him last year, because I think it's fair to say, should have won.
Yeah,
he
he got absolutely minced up on the bend as well, turning in, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, if you backed him last year, do look away now, because I'm just sat here waiting for him to go past on the line, and he doesn't quite manage it, does he? Puts it in here, and you know, it's just painful to watch, isn't it? But interestingly, obviously, he's off a similar kind of mark in terms of if you take into account Chad Beaumont taking 10 off. He looks a nice rider, actually. I must say, give him good props. He finished 2nd on Sam Brown in the rearrange for about the 5th time veterans race last week, and he finished 2nd, but gave the horse a really nice ride, and definitely, I think, is worth keeping a little bit of an eye on. I know he's 6-1. I probably wouldn't want to take much shorter, but I could quite plainly see him being favourite here. I do respect the changing man. Those were the 2 that I came down on, and it was Forward Plan for me, but a really good renewal where you can make cases for loads of extra places on offer.
Good to look back at last year's race, all the same. There was it was painful. Yeah, he just doesn't want to go past.
Redemption this year.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's it. You are definitely half full this week, aren't you?
Yeah, half full of something, anyway.
Yeah, Forward Plan then at 6-1 for Sam. Now, again, ran the trends on this race, and it landed me on a Venetia Williams runner, where I know Venetia Williams, the form cycle, it just follows the same pattern every year, doesn't it? November, December, seemingly pretty much unbeatable. And then in January, it just starts to tail off, a quiet enough spring. And then they come back just towards the end of it when they're well enough handicapped again. However, I'm going to hope that there's another one in Ferrero Bamboo here at 11-1, because again, trends have landed me on him. 10-year-olds have a really good record in this race. So the older horses to the fore. And the bandwidth ideally is 144 to 146, but this is a lesser renewal because we don't actually have a horse rated that high in here. We have Raffle Ticket. He's top rated on 143, but 2 runs is ideal. Finishing 2nd last time out is a big plus. So we have a few of those in here, but 3 to 6 weeks since the last run is another bonus. So Ferrero ticks most of those boxes after running well the last twice, and including winning the Rehearsal Premier Handicap Chase on his penultimate start as well. He's a funny horse, isn't he? He kind of doesn't look like he should be this good racehorse as such. He's
Venetia's got loads of horses like that.
Yeah, they just don't look like much.
Not loads of size and kind of substance to them, but they've just got that athletic ability to jump.
Yeah, and he seems, I've never seen him in person, but he seems like such a diminutive type. And we know every so often he does have his jumping frailties, and that does get him behind. But once he gets into a rhythm, as he did on this day, he's so game, as Venetia Williams' horses are, to be able to fend off challengers as well. This was the changing man in 2nd on that day too. So we know he's got that verdict over that rival. Hopefully he will do so again here. And as I say, at 11-1, didn't think that was a bad way to go. But Dec, who did you like?
Yeah, it's this is a really competitive race, and it changed at Dex, didn't it? Because Gallo would have been in top weight, and I'd say a lot of the jockeys were rejoicing with the weights going up. Now they can have an old packet of juicy fruits on the way up in the car there and boost the energy levels. But well, whatever they eat, you know. I see everyone thinks jockeys have a great diet. Some of them really don't.
No.
So and we should remember here, it starts on the bend here, and it's the inside track at Doncaster, and there is a mountain of pace on in this race. You're going to need a little bit of class early, that little bit of boot, just to put you into a good position, because it's going to be proper helter-skelter to the first bend. And I think the horse with that little bit of touch of class is the changing man. It's coming together for him. Like, you go back and you look at some of his form as a novice last season behind Stay Away Faye, and he seemed to lose his confidence, I think, jumping. And even at Newcastle behind Ferrero Bamboo, he didn't jump as well as he can. But last time out at Ascot, I thought it was probably the best he jumped now in a little while, which makes no sense given, you know, some of the downhill fences there. And this was a race run at a proper gallop that day. He was on the front front end the whole way through it. Didn't get any peace at all on the front end. And look, he just gets to the front here now, and it looks like he's got the race 1 or 2. I think he was idling quite badly, because watch what happens now. Once he's joined by Victorino, watch the margin from the third horse just keep increasing and increasing and increasing. I think he was idling out in front. The other thing as well is he was down closer to the rail at Ascot, and I think sometimes that ground gets a little bit more beaten up. You can see there Charlie Deutsch, Alain Nico de Bonneville on Shishkin when he beat an Urgemine was kind of wider on the track, and I probably think that helped him. But on the old Rixie's ratings, I had him running to 140 here, and he runs on Saturday off 135. I think Donny have only had 2 mils overnight, thanks to those at Doncaster for updating the ground very early. It's a big help to us. So the better the ground, the better his chance. I think he's a good, solid each-way bet with 4 or 5 places being on offer there. So he will do for me for the Tizzards and Brendan Powell. And look, it's great. Their horses have been in good order all season. There's definitely been stages during their career where it just felt like the horses were sick. But the Tizzards, the horses are thriving at the moment. They're putting back-to-back runs together, which is a plus for this guy, because he probably didn't have an easy race last time out. That would be the only worry.
Yeah, for Changing Man, though, at 5 to 1.
A bit like me on the show today, the Changing Man.
Exactly.
Producing
I know, it
culture.
Is. Art imitating life right now. Horses' names imitating deck, as the old saying
But I
goes.
do. Sam's horse Forward Plan with the £10 claimer on him.
Yeah.
He is definitely the best handicapped horse when you factor that in.
OK, then so you might be having a bit of a savour on him as well.
Could well do, yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'll just
Sorry,
be left
Kate.
out. Yeah, I'm completely left out of this. All the same, me and Ferrero Bamboo will do our own thing all the same. Do let us know, though, who you fancy for the Great Yorkshire Handicap Chase in the comments section below. And as my voice hangs on by a thread, it's time for us to head over to the sofa to give you our best bets for the weekend. The all-important part, our best bets of the weekend, but a reminder of our Trader's Choice and the prices being boosted about Iroko and Crambo this weekend. So if you want to take advantage of these, make sure to head to the website or to scan the QR code to take advantage of these boosts, because Iroko, 7 to 2, 21 to 5, just as a reminder for Deck specifically, more so than anyone else. That is the boost then for Iroko, and Crambo's boost as well, 15 to 8. Now 5 to 2. So Sam and I definitely want to take advantage of that, but not to the point where he is perhaps included in our best bets this weekend, Sam. But we're going to leave that to one side just for 1 second, because we better let Deck go first.
Go on then.
Ladies first and all that. Yes, I'm going to concentrate on Donny this week, because I wasn't sure how much rain Cheltenham are getting overnight, so I've concentrated on Doncaster. And I'm going to go back to my favourite betting without market, because in the Mayor's Hurdle at Doncaster on Saturday, I fancy Della Casalunga to either beat or run second to Katira there. Just a really likeable big mare. She's in great order. She won well at Kempton over Christmas, and I think she's going to love that big galloping track at Doncaster. Takes on a couple of horses there whose trainers aren't in great order and or have to carry penalties, and I think kind of between the weights of the race, it really should set up well for her, who's a strong stayer. I would have liked for Doncaster to get even more rain overnight, but I'm hoping she might be able to get away with it, because she looks in good order. The next best then we've already discussed on the show. I'm going to go with Mashan 2 in the River Don for the Inform Emma Lavelle team. Like Western Knight in there, but he's got to give that horse £3, and I just think there's something about this horse that I like. I think he could be quite nice for the Lavelle team, and saves a little bit for himself, and as these young novice hurdlers running over 3 miles around a big galloping track, I think that could hopefully get him home late in the day. And then the long shot is going to go in the Great Yorkshire Chase. It's going to be Doc Pickme, who ran a cracker over this course and distance last time out. Was maybe a little bit in the doldrums, but looked in great order that day. He was ridden by Callum Pritchard the last day, and he was taking £7 off him. Charlie Maggs rides him on Saturday, only taking £5 off him, but he's got good course form. He's a strong stayer, and he changed his legs late the last day, and it looked like he was going again, so I think he's in good order. So yeah, he will do for me as long shot.
Nicely done. Sam, your turn.
Yes, tricky this week, but one of my favourite horses in training is running somewhat unexpectedly. So that's going to be my nap. Potter's Charm closes the card out at Cheltenham. Now, Twiston Davis team taking advantage of being in good form, and this horse seemingly being in great form as well. So I was really pleased to see that they deserve a bit of credit, actually, because it's very easy to wrap these horses up, isn't it? But he's going to be having his 5th run of the season. I'm not sure it's ideal in terms of his preparation for the festival, if you like him for the Turners or for the Supreme, depending where he goes. Just a reminder, BetVictor 4 places on both those races if you're looking for something each way this weekend. But Potter's Charm will be my nap. It looks like a really good opportunity, to be fair to them. So, yep, they'll take that. And anything around even money was great. Long Preze, we've spoken about already. We're all fairly much in agreement about his chances, and you know, I think the conditions of the race really favour him. The rain that Declan's talked about, maybe there's a bit too much around. The only thing I would say is Cheltenham dries so quickly. If it's not too wet tomorrow, I think he'll be absolutely fine, and even money was fair. Now, my long shot. We spoke about how weird, didn't we, that the Cleeve looked. Yeah. And Garlaw was touched upon by you, Kate, in a positive light. Declan wasn't so sure. I filmed something with Jamie Snowden that will be going out on BetVictor's socials, and he made the point when he was discussing which race the horse could potentially go in this weekend that his hurdles, you kind of have to forgive what he's done in them because, A, he's probably not had a clean run at them in terms of, I think a couple of them came at the start of reappearances. In softer ground, the ground would be an issue if it gets too soft, but he was a bit bigger than that 11-1 on the graphic when I was sort of putting in my long shot, so I'm hoping he drifts back out. But look at the race, take the front two out, and even Crambo, as much as I like him in the race, is he a solid proposition to go all in on? Probably not. Strong leader, I'd want to just see if the wind ops work. Then you go through the other rogues in there, and you're kind of going, well, third and possibly second is up for grabs. So I want to take a double-digit each-way play if we get 8 or more runners, which we should. 11-1 is as short as I'd want to go for a long shot. But in a tricky week to find one, he's where I came down.
I didn't know you were siding with him, to be fair, so I'm sorry for sort of stealing your thunder earlier on. But at least we teed it up, though. But it's the potential Noble Yates in the Cleeve angle, really, isn't it? That staying chaser coming back then over hurdles. And like you say, from some of the, a few of the horses in there, kind of, they're monkeys, aren't they, really? Let's be honest about it. Garlaw isn't. He's so genuine.
He's got the profile where he's least exposed, I suppose, in the race over hurdles. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to suddenly turn up and win it, but I felt he could take a step forward.
Yeah, 11-1 then about Garlaw. A few other people may have just noticed that angle as well, hence why he has just been cut in somewhat. I'm pleased about your next best bet, though, because he's going to be my nap Long Presse in the Cotswold Chase for all of the aforementioned reasons. The fact that even just a shade of odds against, I'd be over the moon about. But I think even money's about right, and still a very fair price and about Long Presse, getting £6 from Gentleman's Game. Already a Grade 1 winner around Cheltenham in the Brown Advisory in 2022. Also the Dipper in January 2022. So he's going to take all the beating. And as I say, I thought that even money was just a very fair price. Next best bet is going to be good old Ferrero Bamboo. For all that the Venetia Williams form may not be there quite as much this month, but he ticks the most trend boxes, and you are being compensated by the price about him at 11-1 as well, after he's run well on his past 2 starts, winning the rehearsal chase on his penultimate and still running just, well, £8 higher than for that success. So hopefully he can continue his good form here. And the long shot is going to come in the Premier Handicap Chase, the 150 at Cheltenham. That is Grande Dame in here, a horse again who I've had a mixed relationship with in his career so far, but it's 16-1. I can't let one of my ultimate cliff horses go unbacked, because he was the horse that ticked the second most trend boxes as well for this race. A winner of his penultimate start at Chepstow and ran well over the same track and trip at Cheltenham last time out, 5th in the December Gold Cup. And we know how well the form translates regardless of new course, old course at Cheltenham with 2.5 mile Premier Handicap chases. So hopefully that will serve him well again, and off the same mark of last time out as well. Grande Dame at 16-1. I just couldn't let him go on back then, and as a long shot in here as well.
There's one horse that we haven't mentioned that we'll get pelters for if we don't mention in the comments this week. Obviously, Constitution Hill.
Yeah,
so
good point.
Really quick challenge from me. How far does he win by?
Are they going to let him really stride out? I don't think so. I don't know.
Sometimes Nico doesn't have a choice.
What's your lengths?
I'm going to go, I'll be a buyer of double digits. I'm going to go 10 or more. I think
I'd be the unders.
I'll go over 10, I think, with you, Kate. Maybe we'll have a match bet on that.
Yeah, I'm going unders. A 10 being our base.
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to go over 10.
Steck?
I think I'd go over 10 as well, just because it's such a bad race.
I know, it's about 20-1 bar, isn't it?
It's great for everyone involved. They're picking up some serious prize money, aren't they?
Yeah,
fair play for the placement. But
yeah,
no lossy mouth was disappointing.
I was actually like, I would have been long odds on that he went straight to Cheltenham after Kempton. So he must be in good order if they're coming back again, because Lossiemouth was in there as well. Shame she's not going to take him on, because obviously Cheltenham and Kempton, two completely different tracks. I think the new course at Cheltenham definitely would have suited her a lot better. But don't want to say Willie bottled it, because to be fair to all the lads there at Clough-Sutton, the weather's brutal. It's not good to travel any horse, but I think especially a mare.
Oh, Nicky Henderson scaring them all off.
Who would have thought it?
How the turn-up table. Exactly. Willie Mullins running scared now. Oh, yeah, on the British horses. But yeah, Constitution Hill, just hoping to see something good from him all the same, aren't we then? So really looking forward to that and all of the weekend action. But a big thank you to the lads for all of their hard work. A big thank you to you for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. And we'll be back next Friday with our preview of the weekend action.